Well, hello there. My name is HW, and thank you so much for watching Tone Jigga TV. Today, we are talking about the ins and outs of the Kemper for recording, how to use them, what options there are, and what they do. Now, this video is really in response to a question I got. I'm going to pop it up here. It's a question I got on the YouTube channel. It's from Cody Wagner, and Cody says, "Hello, I've been watching your videos for a while now. Since I'm very close to pulling the trigger on a Kemper powered head, I have a question on recording. How would I go about recording with a Scarlett solo guitar interface? Am I able to record with one cable, like one TRS or one XLR? If I can use an XLR, the XLR input is just for mics, I believe, on the interface. So I could do XLR to TRS. I'm just very confused and very new to the recording side of everything." Okay, Cody, I'm gonna try to answer these questions the best I can. So first off, I do not have a Scarlett solo, but I have had a Scarlett, the dual one, the duo, and I currently have two Scarlett, like the quad units, the 4x4, or I think I have an 8i8 and like a 16i8. Anyway, all that to say, yes, you can do it. You have a multi-jack on the front that can do XLR or quarter inch. So you can record easily. Now let's talk about it. First off, you can plug in an XLR. XLRs are not just for microphones. They are for microphones, but XLRs are what I use out of the Kemper into something else. A lot of keyboards will use XLRs, microphones. Most units these days will have XLRs, and they can be preferred. They're often preferred to quarter inch cables. It's not important why, but they work, right? XLRs work, okay? So here's what we can do. I've got two Kempers here, and so here's the back of a head unit, and here's the front of a stage unit, or I'm sorry, a rack unit. And so it's gonna look like this. So on the back of the Kemper, we have a bunch of outputs, and the Kemper allows us to assign different signals to different outputs. So what you're gonna wanna do is go from one of the desired outputs to an audio interface or whatever recording unit you're using. Probably these days you're using an audio interface and something like Pro Tools or Reaper or Logic, because this is 2022 and people are using DAWs at home these days. So I don't know anybody who still has like a little 4-tape mixer, but maybe you do. Okay, so first, the main outputs. You've got main output, double XLRs right here. You've also got double quarter inch. This is where you're gonna start when you wanna record with the unit. Both of these are assignable, but they're gonna put out the same signal. So you can do left and right XLR, you can do left and right quarter inch, you can even do them at the same time. It'll put out signal for both. Next, you have a monitor output, a direct output / send, and you have an alternative input, and you have a return input. That's really all we care about, but here's what we can do with these ins and outs. If we come down here and we go to the output, we can scroll over, and we're gonna get our output menu, and we can assign what we wanna send to these outputs. Okay, so right here, main output. So this main output control determines what we're gonna send out of the left and right XLR or quarter inch. Now, if I'm recording at home, this is for Cody, if I'm recording at home, Cody, you can just use the XLR or the quarter inch, whatever you have around, okay? If you wanna use stereo, make sure you set main output to master stereo. If you want to use it in mono, you just want to use one cable, put master mono. So if you set the main output control to master mono, all of these will be sending out a mono signal. You can plug in two XLRs, you'll get mono on both. If you want them to be separate with separate stereo delays and reverbs, ping-ponging and panning to each side, you're gonna wanna set that to master stereo, and then you're gonna get a left and a right signal. You can do a lot more with this control here. You can go master left. You can just send the left side. You can go mod stereo. What is mod stereo? Well, it's gonna go to the mod, and then it's gonna go to this mod block, and everything from this mod block on, or everything from the beginning to this mod block is gonna go out in stereo. You've also got, all sorts of things, mod block, mono. So basically you can take the full Kemper signal, you can get rid of the delay and reverb if you just want to get a dry guitar or a guitar without time-based effects. That way you can add your own in your DAW. You can always do that. You can set it so that you're just taking the stack unit. You're just sending what's the signal from the stack out to your unit. Now this is maybe a little more advanced stuff. Probably not going to be doing this if you're just starting. But the point is, you can use the left or right or the XLR right into that unit. You asked Cody, can you use just a single cable? You're going to need 2 for stereo, but you can do 1 cable if you're happy doing mono. And I think mono's okay. Most of my videos are recorded in mono because they're just like demos and people listen on their iPhone and stuff. But if you're going to be recording, maybe you want to do stereo. Yeah, you might want to think about how you're going to record in stereo. You have a bunch of other options here. There is delay and reverb wet. You can just send the delay and reverb wet signal. Now the other thing you can do for anybody else recording, Cody's using a solo unit, so he's only going to have 1 input and output. But if you have multiple input and outputs, one really useful thing is you can send maybe just the stack or the dry guitar, or you can send the guitar without the time-based effects into the same unit, into the same DAW, and you can record multiple guitar tracks at once. So how you might do that is you might set the main output to master stereo, and then you come over here to the monitor output and you would plug another channel from here. Here we're limited to a 1/4 inch with the monitor output. We'll go from the monitor output out to another channel on your audio interface, and we could set that to stack. What's that going to do? What that is going to do is going to take all of the guitar signal through the stomps, through to the stack, and any reverbs, delays, mods, and anything in this X block will actually not be recorded out of that output. Why is that useful? Maybe you have a guitar player who has a bunch of time-based effects and he's recording, and maybe you're worried that he's going to get out of time, or maybe you're going to want to apply some more maybe you're going to want to apply your own delays and reverbs later on in the session, and you might want to be able to change the delay and reverb he's using, or maybe you want to add your own modulation effect. You know, there's a million plugins with delays, reverbs, mods. You as a producer, or you as someone who records, you might have something you really like to add onto guitars, and you would prefer not to have an already reverb, delay kind of signal. Or you might just want to take that and be able to EQ it without the effects on it, and then apply your own effects. There could be a whole number of reasons. You also can come back here and you can go, let's see, you can go Guitar Studio, stack. So Guitar Studio is actually going to give you just the dry guitar sound. So imagine being able to record a guitar player playing, but you also at the same time want to get just the guitar signal from the guitar, so that later on you may want to send it out of your audio interface back into maybe an amp. You want to reamp it. Maybe you want to send it into some different Kemper profiles. Maybe you go, oh, I love this guy's playing, but I kind of wish we'd use a different amp. I wish I could take this part and really put it through a different amp. And you want to take that guitar signal and send it through a plugin. Well, you can do that, and you can record both those signals with the Kemper. That's a really cool trick. There's actually a ton you can do in here. You kind of, your imagination is where you can go with it. There's a direct output, that's this one. There is a SPDIF output, which is a digital output. Cody, if you have a SPDIF connection on that solo, you would be able to go SPDIF out to, which is a digital connection, SPDIF out to your, the SPDIFs are right here, by the way, in and out. You could go SPDIF out to your solo unit if it has SPDIF, and you would be able to record in stereo with one cable. So that kind of answers that question. But I personally don't use SPDIF, nothing against it. It's just that when I play live, when I go to people's studios, they always hand me XLRs, they always hand me 1/4 inches. It's always been that way. I've never had anyone hand me a SPDIF connection. A lot of times people will say, well, I use SPDIF because it eliminates one more set of digital converters, and every time you do digital conversion, look, here's how I look at that. I'm gonna go play live, and I'm gonna use XLR. I'm going to listen to it in my house, I'm going to use XLR, quarter inch, whatever, like XLR, quarter inch. I'm going to use an audio input for all of these. So why is it when I record, it's so paramount for me to get rid of one digital conversion? Like either the unit sounded good with using the XLR and quarter inch when you played it at home, when you auditioned it in the guitar store, when you went and played live, or it didn't. I mean, if tone comes down to one digital to audio converter, like we've missed something, right? So to me, SPDIF is, if the Kemper's in the studio and it's sitting there and you want to use SPDIF because you can have a bunch of SPDIF connections and it's less wires and it, I get that. But in terms of some people kind of going, oh, SPDIF is superior because it doesn't do one more conversion, that's, I mean, the delay pedals are converting it, right? I mean, how many times do we put guitar signals through a bunch of pedals, right? And like most units do not keep the dry signal unconverted. So I don't really subscribe to the tone suck theory of all that stuff. Anyway, Cody, I hope that helps you out. I hope that helps everybody out. This is the ins and outs for recording with the Kemper. Very cool unit, very easy. Honestly, the easiest on the market, if you ask me. You literally plug this in and then you tell the Kemper what you want to come out of there. I mean, how much more customizable is that? Other things limit you. I'm not going to name any names. They limit you a bit, and you kind of are stuck with this and that. And you have to actually draw signal chains, and you have to go to this output and assign another output, or you just you do multi out, and then everything's the same. The Kemper's the only unit that lets you basically put any output configuration in any output configuration. And check this out. You can hit store and actually store your output configuration and then recall it later. So you can save one output configuration for, here's my output configuration when I'm live, here's my output configuration when I'm in the studio. I don't know that anyone needs to do that, but you can if you like. You can have all this stuff plugged in, and you can scroll right here and go, oh, I'm gonna open my template in my DAW, and here's how I record guitars, and already have all this set to have a direct set, to have a guitar, guitar studio signal, which is just the dry guitar, the actual signal of the guitar. You can have that already set to the units that you already have in your audio interface, and your template on your DAW can already have the inputs lined up. I mean, so I guess actually that's a really good use for it. I just answered my own question. Cody, I hope that was helpful. Dudes, I hope that was helpful. And dudettes, I don't know, I'll be honest with you, no females to my knowledge really watch this channel, but if you are a female and you watch this channel, comment below. My name's HW. HW out.